Good morning, everyone. A little delay here, apologies for that, but it is Tuesday, October 15th, and let's take a look at what we got for these markets. Overall, right, yesterday was a bank holiday in the States. Bond markets were closed, the equities were open, and we saw very, very limited volume, very low volume day, low volume pre-market. And we had a nice little trickle to the upside. So low volume grind higher. And today we're not starting off on the heaviest volume either, which is something worth noting. It seems like a very, very low volume week. And this grind to the upside in this equity market is on really subdued volume, as I've said like 17 times as we've started this. But the subdued volume most likely is coming from the patience that a lot of big money has in terms of the earnings reports, because everything's about earnings. The earnings period is back on, and there are some solid expectations for earnings growth. Right, earnings expectations and earnings growth is a huge, huge factor in terms of the strength and the potential momentum to the upside in this market that a lot of people have to understand. And as long as we continue with that pumping, right, the markets are most likely going to rally higher. So this morning we had some more banks, right? Goldman Sachs reported earnings, and it looks like they had a very nice reaction from their earnings beat. A surprise of 22% on the earnings report, and the revenue surprise of about 8%. So they've done pretty well along with the other banks, which is helping prompt Goldman Sachs up. JP Morgan is up just a tiny bit. You have Bank of America as well that reported earnings today, and it's up. So these banks are continuing with what they had started off with on Friday with those first big bank reports. So Wall Street and big investors alike looking for the festivities to continue in this earnings period. Companies are ready with their commentary, analysts prepared with their projections, and investors pretty eager to place new bets into the market. I think a lot of people are very eager to see how tech, right, big tech comes out of these earnings, because that's where a lot of eyes are on. We talked about this a lot, but the underweight holdings in tech right now are a very, very big anticipation for this market into the end of the year and into this election period. So the S&P and the Dow Jones posting new record highs on Monday. The market sentiment looks very, very positive overall. There are a lot of negative Nancys out there and naysayers that are starting to short this thing. But I think there could be a little more. Yes, I do agree. It is on very weak volume, this rally, and it looks pretty fragile. But calling a top is not necessarily what I'm after right now. I'm just after to see if the momentum actually changes to weakness. So my neck. Sorry. So about 40 S&P 500 companies are going to report their third quarter performance to investors over the next couple of days, like Goldman Sachs and Bank of America posted this morning. We also have United Health, UNH. I might have already reported this morning. So they reported they're down a pretty decent chunk. We also have like Walgreens, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, which is a very large company actually. Let me see when that reports. They report on Thursday, so in 2 days. Then Netflix on Thursday again. The first big tech company to report, Netflix, which a lot of people are going to keep a very close eye on in anticipation of some of the other big tech earnings. So that gives investors a pretty substantial array, a plethora, if you will, of data points to assess the health of the U.S. economy as Wall Street awaits the November election. So for the S&P as a whole, earnings per share growth is expected at 5% in Q3 2024 on a 4.7% revenue growth, which is pretty good, right? Which is helping the general sentiment of the market continue. So Wall Street's bull market has entered its third year, climbing over 62.5% in 502 trading days total. The S&P 500 bottomed out at, or the SPX, 3577 on October 12, 2022, and has since rallied to the top. So factors boosting this run include the advent of artificial intelligence that we saw, big booms in that. The Federal Reserve, that looks like to be on track to deliver its soft landing. Amongst the bunch, we also have the Magnificent Seven that's done a lot of the heavy lifting, more so at the first half, the beginning of this large bull run. Right now, they're kind of lagging back a little, so that's what everyone's anticipating. Can they catch up and just propel this thing to a rocket ship higher? So with quarterly earnings seeming to be off to a good start, Christine Short notes in the third quarter results preview that sell-side analysts have ratcheted down their estimates more than usual this earnings season. Since June 30th, Q3 earnings estimates have come down by 3.6 percentage points, more than the 3.3 percentage points that have been seen on average over the last 10 years, with expectations... While these expectations have tempered since earlier in the year, the corporate sector remains very strong with ample buffers given elevated profit margins and strong balance sheets. So this is what Principal Financial Group in earnings in the earnings season says. Start looking at resilience. So I think that this is going to be the main topic of conversation the following weeks, right? Specifically around the big expectations of earnings, even though some of the analysts' expectations have dropped off, presenting a larger buffer to actually outperform. So all eyes on earnings. And as long as this earnings growth continues, I don't think that the market topples out to have some kind of cataclysmic drop like a lot of people are trying to anticipate right now, which means that I still do remain bullish. I do still think there's limited upside, but like I said, I'm going to ride it until it kind of capitulates. And we'll talk about what those areas look like on the very short term, right? I'm not talking about something very cataclysmic, but I think in the next few weeks, we're probably going to see some kind of topping with a minor pullback and then continue on post-election. So we'll explain that. I'll do a midweek update actually on Wednesday into the afternoon session about 3:30 p.m. Eastern towards the closing bell. I'm not active at that point in the markets anyways, unless I have a position going on, but we'll do a midweek update and kind of explain my thought process for what's going on, because I tried to do an update on Sunday night, but it kept just like stopping my stream, right? First it went to about 50 seconds. The second time it went to about 10 minutes and it cut me off. So let's fingers crossed on Wednesday we can deliver something. In terms of some of the other news, right, we have Fed Speaker Daly at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. We have Fed Speaker Kugler at 1 p.m. Eastern and Bostic at 7 p.m. That's less of relevance. But a few more Fed speakers here. We've got some data points that come out later in the week as the volume is relatively crap. So markets are still trying to rise. NASDAQ is trying to break through the overnight highs right now through this, above this 620 area, 610 area, which is a pivotal area for the balance low to start. The S&P very close to all-time highs. The all-time high, if I'm not mistaken, was somewhere around 1819. And right now we're trading about 1213. So if I'm looking at the S&P today, I think that this upside does continue on today's session. Right now what's happening is we're holding we're holding within yesterday's balance. The kind of pivotal point is 58.90. I think as long as we can bid from 58.90 and above, bull side persists. General targets for the upside, if we do get that nice trend day to the upside, is between 59, 40, 45, and 50 today. So right now this balance is holding. Right now we have this drop off over here with this low volume at this 90 area, very important region. That's where the sell side can open up actually. So if I'm looking for any sell, it's going to be under that area, right? I don't want to try to pinpoint these tops, and especially if we start running above 59.15, I think we can get that nice push to the upside. We have a lot of volume that's centered around 59.05, so it's a very shallow baby pullback that people are trying to anticipate. Yesterday we had huge market buying at 5900 and 5904, so that's an intermediate little baby area for the pullbacks to actually sustain this price. So I do remain bullish. If we do start running aggressively under 90, that's the only time I'm going to flip at this point. There could be something on order flow that comes out at higher prices, but I just want to remain bullish above those areas. So with that being said, I hope you guys got a lot of intel to start the day. We'll be opening up our live trading room, and I'll see you guys in there. So check out community.tradeproacademy.com, and Wednesday, 3:30 p.m., I'll do a live stream on a midweek update to break down how the week's gone so far, as well as the anticipated moves on the near term, right? To end the week, and then going into the week after, we can get a good general idea of what's getting cooked up in these markets. So I'll see you guys there. Thank you for tuning in, and we shall